You've seen how simple and easy the build-up is for this flat pack. Well, I'm going to take you through the step-by-step process and make it even easier for you to assemble yourself. The first thing you need to do is to open up your box, pull out all the panels and locate your instruction manual. Have a look at your instruction manual and identify each one of the panels and mark them up with some masking tape and a pen according to their numbering system. Straight away I've got these two large pieces, one is the base and one is the top. The top surface has no screw holes on the top, therefore this piece will be the bottom. I have the top thin slat, which is panel number 5, which is the back rail. I've got this individual panel here, which is a large shelf area. It's not like any of the other panels, so that must be panel number 8. And then you'll see the remainder of the panels that I've left behind all are the same size. So which one is which? Well, straight away the easiest point to look for is the doors. Now the doors have these two recesses, so straight away you know that these two panels are for the doors. So how do I identify which one of these middle panels is which? Well, straight away I know I want to keep all the mechanisms and the screws on the inside of the door area. So this one will definitely be number 7, and then this one will be number 6 on the other side. And that leaves us with the outer two pieces. Now you can see again, they both look very similar. Again, the cam lots are going to be on the inside of the doors, so match up according to the diagram. This will be number 4, and that'll be number 3. With all your panels identified and marked, it's now time to open up the hardware and sort all the components into organized piles. With my hardware sorted before we start assembling the panels, we need to start putting some of the hardware into the panels. Now that means popping in the dowels and the cam locks. We're going to start off with panel number 5, panel 3, 4, 6 and 7. That's all the vertical panels and the back rail. That's all our dowels into position. We now need to do the cam locks. That's these little guys here, and you'll see there's a little arrow or an indicator at the top of the cam lock. And we're going to line that line up there with that hole. If you find that you don't get it straight, you can just take your screwdriver and then just realign it so that it matches up with the hole at the top. That was panel 6. We're also going to do panel number 7, 3 and 4. The next step are the cam screws, which are going to be screwed into panel number 1. You're going to screw them in by hand, and then you can just tighten the last bit with a screwdriver, but not too tight. You don't want to be stripping that screw thread into that plastic insert. The hardware is in. I'm now going to secure the feet on the underside of the base panel, and I'm going to be using the 50mm director screw. So I've got the clean edge on the top side, pop in a screw all the way through, and then tighten. Now I actually find it easier to take this base plate and pop it on its side with the print on the top side, then taking the first panel and popping it into position. As you push it in towards the dowel stick, you'll see that it'll actually hold itself up, making my hands free. Right, pop in panel number 4, take two 50mm director screws, and then screw that all the way down. Right, you'll see I've got our first two pieces in, and we're going to start installing our two center pieces. Now remember, these guys have the recess at the back section to accommodate that back rail. So we've got item number 6 on this side, and we've got board number 7 with the cam locks on the inside, and we can screw these down. Okay, our 4 panels are in. It's now time for the back rail. So let's lift this guy over. Straight away, the cover strip needs to be on the underside. Insert your director screws on the end. Now you'll see this back rail is slightly loose. We are going to secure that a little later on, but the first thing we need to do is put in our shelf so we get the right spacing in between these two dividers. With the last 4 director screws, which are the 38mm long director screws. Right, our shelf is in. What we're going to do now is put on our top panel. That's where we're going to locate each one of our cam screws down through in every one of these holes and down so we can catch up with the cam locks. Once we've got those into position, we can then secure the cam locks. And that's where you turn these cam locks a full 180 degrees, a full half turn. Now that I've got that all into position and it's square, I'm going to secure that back rail with those 2 screws on that back section that I mentioned earlier. The next step is to apply our backboard on the back of the unit. Making sure you've got the access hole at the bottom side. You'll see they've already put in sight lines. Taking your panel pin, Make sure you are in the center of the timber, otherwise the nail is going to burst out and damage the timber. So lined up with the center, and then drive that nail all the way down. Our structure is nearly done. We now need to start installing our doors. The first thing we need to do is put the hinges onto the doors and the handle. Take your hinges and then just line the round section into the little pockets like so, and then drive your 16mm screws directly into the pre-drilled holes. Hinges are complete. It's now time to add on your handles. Pop your door on its side, put the screws into the pre-drilled holes, line up your handle, gently start them off. It's one door complete. Now it's time to start installing the doors to the cabinet. Now this can be a bit of a juggling act, especially if you're trying to hold it up here with the screws with one hand, especially if you're doing it on your own. What I like to do is actually just take the cabinet and then flip it up onto its side. That way you can rest the door down into position, exactly where the pre-drilled holes are, line those up with the hinges and screw them into place. It's a good idea now to also just double check the spacing between the top and the bottom. I like to go for an even gap, making sure it's not touching on either side. That's the door into position, but we're not quite finished there. So as you can see, as I open and close this door, you can hear that rubbing. Now that's occurring on the inside. So the first thing I need to do is just to pull this door out slightly. You'll see on the hinges here, you have a slotted section here, which allows that hinge to move back and forth. Once you've got it in desired position, you can just lock it tight. So we'll just pull this one out slightly, double check. That's much better. Now the next thing we'll see is we've got some misalignment here. How we're going to adjust that is as you wind this top screw in, so it pulls the door out. As you unscrew the hinge, so it pulls the door in. So at the top here, we know we need to pull the door in, so we're going to wind the screw out slightly. That's your first door in. It's exactly the same procedure for the other door on the other side. The doors are on. The last thing left to do is to cover up these unsightly cam screws. Now we've got these stickers. Make sure you get them aligned with the grain structure of the timber, and then that's it in a way. There you have it. In around about 10 steps, you've managed to assemble and build your own media unit. That really was simple and easy to do. The most important thing now is to put it to good use and get it into situ. If you enjoyed this clip, like it, share it. You can also subscribe to the BuildersSA YouTube channel. There's a range of DIYs and how-tos just like this for you to be inspired, but most importantly, get to Builders and get it done.